Good morning, students. So, today I will be starting with the very important concept again in connection with the lathe machine and operations. So, in continuation with that, today I am going to discuss taper turning and taper turning methods. So, before I proceed with these two, in the last class or in the last session, we have discussed about different operations that can be performed with the sketches, and you need to understand because these are the operations which are being carried out on a lathe machine, and many of these operations you are going to do even in your machine shop also in this semester, and you will definitely understand better when you practically start doing the jobs on a lathe machine. But anyway, let me start with the very important concept, that is taper turning and taper turning methods. So this as you are going to see on the screen clearly here, I am just enlarging it. So what is taper turning? So first we need to understand it is a part of a turning method only. That means in case of a taper turning, we are going to reduce the diameter, okay, from larger to smaller, but only to a certain length. That is why it is called as a taper. We are not reducing, that means we are not considering the entire length. So to give a clarification here, so we have considered a certain length and we require to consider what is the diameter d1. This is the original diameter of the workpiece and this is the final diameter of the workpiece. So as you are going to see here, the workpiece is rotated and we require to produce a taper, which you are going to see clearly on the screen. So initially it will be like this. This is the figure. So I require to remove the excess material which is to be removed. But anyway, this particular method where we are going to reduce the diameter from a larger to a smaller, either at the end of the workpiece or in the middle of the workpiece, that depends, okay. So such a operation we call it as a taper turning. The feeding of the tool is either done at an angle which is being calculated, or you can have a straight feeding, depending upon the type of turning method which we are discussing one by one. Taper turning produces a ramp transition. This is called as a ramp transition. So ramp transition is nothing but this is called as a ramp transition between the two surfaces with different diameters due to the angled motion between the workpiece and a cutting tool. Just I have told, we require to move the cutting tool at a certain angle or sometimes straight parallel to the axis of the workpiece, depending upon the type of turning method which we are going to adopt on a lathe machine. So let us have an understanding now tapers and taper turning in detail. In detail we are going, the same taper turning which you are going to see here, whatever you are going to see here, this is we are going to consider in the form of a taper, as you are going to observe very clearly here. So here you are going to see this is the original diameter of the workpiece and this is the final diameter of the workpiece. D1 is the initial diameter, D2 is the final diameter after removing certain amount of material. Okay, so now here you are going to see the certain taper angle. This is a calculation for the taper angle. We know what is tan. Tan of something is what? Tan of something is what you know, because you already studied what is sine theta, what is cos theta, what is tan theta. Okay, so opposite side upon adjacent side, that is called as the tan of a certain angle. Using that formula, this is being calculated and written directly here, because here what we are going to do, first I have to calculate what is d1 minus d2. So d1 minus d2 divided by 2, if I do, I am going to get this portion. If I do d1 minus d2, so this d1 I am going to consider here d1 minus d2 divided by 2 I have to do. So after dividing, what I am going to get? I am going to get d1 minus d2 divided by 2. If I do, then I am going to get this portion. I wanted to clarify here. d1 minus d2, if I do, I am going to get this portion, complete this portion I am going to get here. Try to understand. d1 minus d2 divided by 2 it is. So if I consider tan of this, then it is called as d1 minus d2 divided by, this is called as what? Opposite side upon adjacent side. Adjacent side is nothing but what? This length, whatever I am going to get. That is what we are discussing here. Okay, so now you require to understand how this taper angle alpha is calculated, because this value is required to be calculated even in your machine shop also when you want to produce a tapered surface on a given workpiece. A taper may be defined as a uniform increase or decrease in diameter of a workpiece measured along the length. I am going to measure along the length here. Our measurement is along the length. So as I go either in this way or in this way, there will be a difference in the diameters. Okay, so that is why it is called as what? Increase or decrease in the diameter. That is why whatever the surface generated is called as a tapered surface. In a lathe, taper turning means to produce a conical surface by gradual reduction in diameter from a cylindrical workpiece. So that is why we have considered here d1 larger diameter of taper. We have considered the diameter of the taper d1 as a larger one and d2 as a smaller one. Then length of the taper is also mentioned here, how much length we require to give a tapering operation on a workpiece. And 2 alpha is called as the full taper angle. Alpha is called as the angle of taper sometimes, or half taper angle, any one of them we are going to call it. So 2 alpha is called as the full taper angle, as you are going to see clearly here. So 2 alpha means, so this angle is alpha already, this also alpha, this is also alpha, all together it is called as 2 alpha, remember. Okay, so that is called as the entire taper angle, but we are interested to calculate what is alpha. We have to calculate what is the value of alpha. So now let us start with the next. The same one we are going to define in the form of conicity. What is this conicity? The amount of taper in a workpiece is usually specified by the ratio of the difference in diameters of the taper to its length. So always we take the difference in diameters, because that difference in diameters itself is taken as a major consideration to calculate the how much amount of reduction of the diameter has taken place with respect to length. So that is why what we take the larger diameter of taper minus the smaller diameter divided by what is the whole length of the taper. So that ratio itself is called as a conicity. This is termed as conicity and it is designated by the letter K. Generally we use the letter K. So K is nothing but d1 minus d2 divided by L, which you are going to see very clearly there. So now what are the taper turning methods? Now we are going in detail about, we have understood what is the meaning of a taper first. Okay, so for a taper we require 3 important parameters here. One is what is the initial diameter of the workpiece and how much reduction we are going to do, that is d2. The initial diameter is considered as d1 and the final diameter after reduction is considered as d2. Then how much length of the workpiece is tapered, that is called as a L. So these 3 dimensions are very important for the calculation of the taper as well as the taper angle. Very, very important. So this has to be decided by the operator or by the industries wherever they want to go for the tapering operation on a given job or a component or a workpiece. So now in the taper turning methods, there are 5 important types are there. Form tool method, the first one. Second one is the tailstock set over method. Third one is compound rest method. Fourth one is taper turning attachment method. And the fifth one is combining feeds method. So in that, okay, we are discussing individually one by one with the sketches how the taper turning operation is being carried out on a lathe machine. Okay, let us start with the form tool method. As you are going to see clearly on the screen, please view to the right side here very clearly. Just I am enlarging it. So here you are going to see the headstock chuck. This chuck is there. This is the workpiece. Okay, and this is the cutting tool, and this is the feed rate. Also you are going to see the feed is done in this way. The feeding direction is perpendicular to the axis of the workpiece. This is very, very important. The axis of the workpiece is like this, and it is fed perpendicular. So why it is called as a form tool method? It is called as a form tool method because already the tool itself is having a certain angle of a taper. So whatever the cutting tool edge is having the taper angle, the same angle will be produced directly on a workpiece. So that is why this particular method is suitable only for shorter tapers, not for bigger tapers. So I will be reading it out in a clear fashion. Shape of the tool is remain same as the shape of the component to be produced. So that is what I am telling. Whatever the shape of the cutting edge is there, so this is called as the cutting edge, which you are going to see here. This is called as a cutting edge of a tool. So in this cutting edge, whatever the angle you are going to see here in this portion of the cutting tool, the same angle is formed as a surface on the workpiece. Whatever you are going to see this taper, that taper angle is produced as per the availability of that particular shape of the cutting tool angle itself. Accuracy of taper produced depends on accuracy of the taper present on the tool. So how much cutting edge is in a correct condition as per the required angle provided on a cutting tool. So according to that only it is possible to get that particular perfect angle on a surface of a workpiece. Width of the tool must be greater than or equal to the length of the workpiece to be taper turned. This is very, very important. Whatever the width of the tool means, this is the width of the tool which you are going to see here. This is called as the width of the tool. This is called as the width of the tool. So whatever the width of the tool is there, it should be greater than or equal to the taper surface to be produced. Maximum length of the component which can be taper turned is 20 millimeter. There is a restriction is there. We cannot taper more than 20 millimeter width. So again I wanted to clarify here very clearly. So this width should not exceed 20 millimeters. If it is more than 20 millimeters, then there will be vibrations, because directly here the cutting tool will be coming in contact with the rotating workpiece, and the feeding is done perpendicular to the axis of the rotation of the workpiece. Only external taper turning is possible. So two things you have to remember perfectly here. One is, in a form tool method, the maximum taper turning width or taper turning length that is possible is only 20 millimeters, or a very small taper length can be achieved by this method, and only external taper turning is possible. We cannot do any internal taper turning here. This is very, very important. So such questions will be coming as assessment questions, which whatever I am going to stress on some of the points, try to recollect yourself when you want to answer the assessment questions, whenever I am going to tell you in connection with the presentations. So now this is called as a form tool method, because whatever the angle that is formed on the cutting tool or the cutting edge, the same form is produced on the workpiece. It is limited to external taper only. Maximum length of taper is 20 millimeters. So these are the 3-4 important points which you need to remember. Now what is the limitation? Again we are discussing now. This method is limited only for short length taper. We cannot go for a larger length, that is 20 millimeters, which I already told, because the metal is removed by the entire cutting edge, and only increase in the length of the taper will necessitate the use of wider cutting edge. We require to go on widening the length of the cutting edge, which may produce vibrations. So it is not achievable correctly. This will require excessive cutting pressure. We require to have more cutting pressure, which may distort the work due to vibration and spoil the workpiece. So there's every chance that if I go on increasing more than 20 millimeter length of taper to be produced on the surface of a workpiece, then there is every chance that it is not possible to achieve it because of more width, more cutting pressure, more vibrations on the machines, and rough taper is achieved, which is not accepted. So that is why this method is suitable only for shorter tapered length. Okay, so now the next one, very important method which we are discussing is tailstock set over method. First we need to understand there are three important elements here. One is headstock, which is located to the left side of the lathe bed. Tailstock is always located at the right side of the lathe bed, and in between the headstock and tailstock we have got the carriage. So now we require to understand here what is the meaning of a set over. Set over means what? Shifting the center of a tailstock. So how can we shift it? When we are telling it is fixed, of course the tailstock is made to move, okay, towards the headstock center always, okay, to hold in between the centers depending upon the length of the workpiece, because one surface can be one surface of the workpiece, or one end of the workpiece or left end of the workpiece is always held at the headstock chuck, and on the right hand side by using the dead center of the tailstock it is held firmly and the machining operation is done. This is a normal method of turning when the workpiece is of a moderate length. But whenever we want to cut a taper turning by using set over method, which is called as the tailstock set over method, so here you are going to see the top view. Whatever the figure you are going to see here, this is the top view of your lathe machine. Try to understand now. So as you are going to see the top view of the lathe machine, there are two centers here. This is called as a live center, which is located on a headstock, and this is the dead center. So you are going to see what is the offset here. Offset means what? In reality, means in actual practice, okay, this center, whatever you are going to see, this center should be here. This center has to come here, but it is shifted. That shifting is called as a offset. So this offset means what? Why this is done? This is done in order to shift the axis so that a particular amount of taper can be produced. So if at all this shifting is done, it is possible to produce a certain angle, but there is some limitation for taper angle here. So you need to understand what is the workpiece. Lathe axis is shown clear here, dead center and offset value, and this is the top view of the lathe bed. Try to understand, this is the top view. And again, to make you have a clear understanding, this is called as a tool post, where there is a mounting of a tool and the feeding is done in this direction only. So as it is fed, due to this offset, there is some tapering surface being produced on the surface of a workpiece, which we are discussing in detail now. Again, let us go in detail. It is based on the principle of shifting the axis of the rotation of the workpiece at an angle to the axis. So again, I will be making it slightly bigger with each sentence, make you to understand clearly. Now it is opposite I have shown, but both the systems are same. There is no difference. So this is called as a set over. This is the live center of the headstock, this is the center of a tailstock, and this much amount is called as a, whatever you are going to see with respect to this center line, this is called as a set over. How much amount of set over is there, and the feeding of the tool is done straight like this, and it is possible to get the taper angle. So how you are going to do this? The feeding of the tool is parallel to the axis of the lathe axis. We are not going to change the feed of the tool. The feed of the tool is done straight. Okay. The angle at which the rotation of the axis of the workpiece is shifted is equal to half the taper angle alpha. This is very important. So whatever the angle at which the rotation of the workpiece, axis of the workpiece is shifted, is equal to the half of the taper angle we require to calculate. Just I have told, that is d minus d upon 2l is the equation tan alpha. The same equation is used, but with respect to S, to calculate for the S, that is set over how much amount is there. This is done when the body of the tailstock is made to slide on its base towards or away from the workpiece by operating the set over screw of the tailstock. So how this shifting is done? So I want, because this headstock is center is fixed here, but I want to shift from this point to this point. Okay, so how this is done? This is done by operating the tailstock. Set over screw is there at the base of the tailstock, and it is slightly shifted away from the operator, and then it is locked at that position to carry out the what? Taper turning method. Again to go in detail, if taper turned by offsetting tailstock, the amount of offset O here he has considered, instead of considering S, he has considered here O. It is also S, both have got same meaning, only the alphabet is different. Offset, word for offset is using O. This offset is nothing but S only, which I have discussed in the previous slide there. Okay, if taper turned by offsetting tailstock, amount of offset O is calculated as follows. So just observe very keenly here. Again I am going in detail for better understanding now. This is your axis and this is the shifted axis. So that is called as a tailstock set over, which you are going to see. Now to calculate O value, I have to consider D minus D upon 2. So that will give you this length divided by small l into capital L. So capital L represents the length of the work. Because why we have to consider the length of the work? We don't know whether we are considering the tapering is done on entire length. The tapering is done only for this length here. Though the workpiece length is this much, we have considered only this value. That is why I have to consider here as D minus D upon 2 into small l into capital L on the top, where D is the large diameter. So which is the large diameter here? This is the large diameter D. This is the small diameter D. And this is the length of the taper, and this is the length of the workpiece which is considered. This formula is important whenever we want to solve the problems on tailstock set over method. So the next type of method coming is compound rest method. So in a compound rest method, there are various parts on a carriage, as you are going to see. First of all, we require to understand on a carriage as it is, we have got a compound rest slide. Then after that, you'll be having the tool post being mounted one above the other. First we are going to have a saddle, above that we are going to compound rest, then above that you'll be having a tool post like this. So now whenever we want to understand by means to carry out the taper turning operation by using the compound rest method, we require to tilt the compound rest device, okay, with respect to a base, graduated base, that we are discussing in detail now. Try to understand here very clearly. Now I made it slightly larger. So now this is the axis of the lathe axis, simple thing, and just we have shown here, and this is your, sorry, this is not the lathe axis, this is the lathe axis, okay, and this is the movement of the carriage. This is the carriage through which it is made to move in either directions, and this is the, I just clarify once again, no confusion, this is the axis of the workpiece, and this is the movement of the carriage which is made to move in either directions. So now what is going to happen at the beginning, this compound rest is a straight one, it will be like this. That means this axis is going to, just I will clarify again, whatever the axis angle which you are going to see, this which I have drawn, this will be at the beginning like this. Remember, at the beginning it will be like this, and after that it is tilted to an angle which is calculated. How much taper we want, how much taper we want, we have to decide. Calculate the angle alpha and turn this compound rest with respect to the graduated base in degrees. How much angle? It may be 10 degrees, 20 degrees, 25 degrees. That much degrees is this compound rest slide is tilted to the required angle with respect to this graduated base, then it is fixed. Then the feeding of the tool is done as it is with the help of this feed lever, which you are going to see there. So let me again read it for better understanding. Workpiece is rotated on the lathe axis and the tool is fed at an angle alpha to the axis of rotation of the workpiece. First of all, it is fed at an angle alpha, because why it is fed at an angle alpha? The angle alpha is given, the angle alpha is calculated at the beginning only. How much angle alpha is calculated, and this entire compound rest is tilted to this angle, then the feeding is done at an angle only by the cutting tool. The feeding is done in this way only to produce the taper. That is the method here which you need to understand. The tool is mounted on the compound rest, which is attached to the circular base, which I have just told. A circular base is graduated in degrees, which can be swiveled and clamped at any required angle alpha. It can be tilted and it can be rotated to the required degrees, and it can be fixed, and the feeding of the tool can be done. Once the compound rest is set at the required angle, half the taper angle alpha, you have to calculate that first by the using the formula what I have told, d minus d upon 2l into l. Okay, then rotation of the compound slide screw will cause the tool to be fed at the angle and the corresponding taper is generated. So as you are going to see, once this angle is set, then the feeding of the tool is done like this to provide a taper of the required length on a workpiece. So this method is called as a compound rest method. So this compound rest method is more beneficial compared to the tailstock set over and your form tool method, because here we can go for a larger angles, and but only thing is we require to consider for small length workpiece. We cannot carry out this for a very large length of the workpieces. So now the next one, very important, that is called as a taper turning attachment. So as you are going to see the word here, taper turning attachment, it is a separate attachment only. It is an attachment which is provided exactly opposite to the carriage, means on the other side of the bed, which you are going to see. Now again I will be making it very clear here, as you are going to see on the screen here. I have brought it. So now what you are going to see here, this portion, whatever you are going to see, this entire portion, okay, is nothing but a separate attachment which is provided, and it is known as a taper turning attachment, and it is having a guide block, it is having a guiding bar, it is going to have a bracket. This bracket is directly clamped and fixed on the other side of the lathe bed. These are the lathe bed axis which you are going to see here. So this is again whatever you are going to see is the top view only. Okay, now this is the lathe bed guideways. On this, two centers are there as usual. You are going to have headstock center and you will be having a tailstock center. Okay, then you will be having a compound rest with a cutting tool which is seen there for the cutting operation. So this entire portion, whatever you are going to see, all these things, so this is what it is attached directly on the other side, because the operator is standing here. The person who is operating will be here in this portion. The other side, on the other side, the attachment is being fixed or being provided on the other side of the lathe bed to carry out the process of turning. So how this is done? In this method, the workpiece is revolved between the centers. What is the first condition? The first condition is the workpiece has to be revolved between the centers. The tool is guided in a straight path set at an angle to the rotation of the workpiece. The tool feeding is done straight. We are not going to, that means exactly what? Straight path. The frame or the bracket is attached to the rear end of the lathe bed and supports the guiding bar provided at the center. So again, I will making it larger here. This bracket is there which you are going to see here. This bracket is a straight one. This guiding bar is slightly tilted. At the beginning the guiding bar is straight, then afterwards some tilting is done. So how much angle of this tilting is done, according to that I am going to get a tapered angle here. That is what he is explaining now. The frame or the bracket is attached to the rear end of the lathe bed and supports the guiding bar provided at the center. A guiding bar is having graduations in degrees which can be swiveled on either side of the zero graduation. That means either this can be tilted in this way or this can be tilted in this way. So that means, what is the meaning of that? Just I will be explaining here once again. Here you are going to see three important elements. One is the bracket which is fixed, and one is a guiding bar, okay, and another one is a guide block. Okay, on guide block there is a clamping of this surface which you are going to see here. Now when, according to whatever the angle I am going to calculate here, according to that the guide, this bracket will start guiding the what? Guiding bar. That is very, very important. So that is what he is telling here. A guiding bar is having graduations in degrees which can be swiveled on either side of the zero graduation. During the operation, the cross slide is first made free from the lead screw by removing the binder screw. One binder screw is there, so which is attached directly to the lead screw, that has to be removed so that it has to be made free to move for that purpose. As the guide block will slide on the guide bar, as the guide block, this block will slide on the guide bar set at an angle. So that means it is very clear here, this bar will start sliding along the guide bar. Okay, so when it's, as the guide block will slide on the guide bar set at an angle to the lathe axis, the tool mounted on the cross slide will follow the angular path. So whatever the tool that is mounted here, okay, it follows the angular path. That is important. The guiding bar must be set at half the taper angle, and the taper on the workpiece is converted in degrees. Definitely the taper should be converted. Taper means tan alpha, whatever the slope is there, according to that. Swiveling angle is calculated by the same formula what I have told, that is tan alpha is equal to d minus d upon 2 into L, where length L is the length of the taper that is being produced. Using this it is possible to calculate what is the value of, because you how to decide the initial and the final diameter, okay, whether you are reducing from 30 millimeters to 25 millimeters or 30 millimeters to 15 millimeters. 30 millimeters is a larger diameter, 15 millimeter is smaller diameter. 30 minus 15 divided by 2 into L. What is the length of the taper? Length of the taper, say it is about 15 millimeter, 25 millimeter, 30, that you have to decide. Then calculate tan alpha, find out the value of alpha. For that angle it has to be set, the guide bar has to be set to that angle. Now what are the advantages of using the taper turning attachment? The alignment of the live and dead centers being not disturbed, both straight and taper turning may be performed on a workpiece in one setting without much loss of time. Because here what we are going to do is the alignment, whatever the alignment means, what the workpiece, as you are going to see here, it is held between the two centers, that is headstock and tailstock centers. Okay, there is no much disturbance there, so both straight and taper turning may be performed on a workpiece. In one setting only it is possible. Okay, once the taper is set, any length of a workpiece work may be turned within its limit. Whatever the limitations is there, that much angle of taper can be provided. Very steep taper on a long workpiece may be turned. Very steep means what? Very deep. You can have a this one, a taper turning, which cannot be done on any other method. Very steep turning is possible here. Accurate taper on a large number of workpieces may be turned. Accurate taper is possible because we are going to use a very rigid attachment that is known as a taper turning attachment. Internal tapers can be turned with ease. Even in this case it is possible to go for the internal tapers by using the certain attachments or whatever is there. Now the last method which we are going to discuss is about the taper turning by combining feeds. So here what we are going to do, there are generally only one type of feed is there, that is called as the longitudinal feed. Okay, and another word we are going to use, that is called as a depth of cut. So again we are discussing in detail in the subsequent presentations. So taper turning by combining feeds means here we are going to combine two types of feeds. Means at a time we have to decide how much lengthwise feed I am giving to the cutting tool and how much I am going to give perpendicular to the axis or perpendicular to the longitudinal feed, how much I am giving. Combining those values of the feeds, it is possible to give a certain amount of taper on a workpiece. That is what he is explaining here. Taper turning by combining feeds is a more specialized method of turning taper. In certain lathes, both longitudinal and cross feeds may be engaged simultaneously, causing the tool to follow a diagonal path, which is the resultant of the magnitude of the two feeds. So whatever the resultant of that is there, that is calculated, considered in some of the lathe machines. That facility is there. Using that facility and by combining both the longitudinal and cross feeds, it is possible to generate the taper turning on a surface. Okay, so here you are going to see he is going to use this knob also. Okay, top slide, and at the same time he is also tilting the workpiece. That means he requires to give straight as well as like this. So some resultant has to come. So that is considered as a angle of a taper while the operation is being carried out. Okay, so this method is also not common like the first one, form tool method, but the remaining like tailstock set over, compound rest method, okay, and taper turning attachment are the most commonly used types of taper turning methods. Now in connection with the frequently asked questions which you need to study, and you require to write the answers for all these questions, taking into consideration whatever the sketches are put in the presentations, you can download, you can draw the same sketch and keep ready as the notes for reference. Explain any two taper turning methods with sketch. Any two taper turning methods, either you can explain your form tool method or taper turning attachment or compound rest method, whatever is there. Sketch taper turning attachment, only taper turning attachment sketch you have to draw. Write the different methods of taper turning which are already discussed now in detail. Explain taper turning by tailstock set over method by using a suitable sketch. This is a very important question. By using a tailstock set over method, how you are going to carry out the process of machining or providing tapers on a given workpiece. So that is why you require to study these very important questions expected to come in the examinations. And along with that, along with this presentation, I am also going to attach one or two simple videos for better understanding of the how these attachments are going to work. Okay, by using those attachments, how the actually practically how there is a generation of the tapers on a given workpiece is there, and compulsorily everybody has to attend the assessment questions. So it has been found that the students are joining the classes also late. Suppose if the class is at 11:30, some students are joining at 12:15 like that. So it is not accepted. I am telling you, because finally you remember there is no chance of repeating the syllabus which we are covering now in the form of online classes. So these classes are taken as per the instructions from the government order only. You remember, as I often used to tell you that only 2 or 3 classes can be taken again only to discuss about the difficulties of not understanding the concepts, but as it is a complete syllabus cannot be repeated in a regular fashion, so we require to finish off the portion, okay, 2 or 3 chapters before the actual opening of the college. So we don't know how many days it will be extended. So that is why you require to attend each and every subject classes without missing, and also you require to answer the assessment questions. So those assessment questions are possible to be answered if you are attentive and if you are regular. If you are listened from first to the end, then only it is possible to write the answers for the assessment questions. So everybody has to attempt the questions. So with this presentation I am going to finish off the today's presentation. Okay.
So there's a couple of ways of turning tapers. We'll start by turning a little short taper, a little 60-degree included angle. And we'll use the compound rest for this one. loosen these 2 set screws on the compound rest. That'll let us swivel it around. So 60-degree included angle, that means we're going to need to set the compound rest to 30 degrees. I could swing it around here to the left like this. I'll just go ahead and set it up this way, and then I'll show you why I don't want to do this. It's not really that big a deal, it's not that close, but I don't like the idea of my hand being that close to a pinch point. So I'm going to swing this around the other direction, just to show you that you do have some options when you set these up. In fact, sometimes I'll run the spindle in reverse and I'll cut on the back side of the part. But this works well enough for what I've got. It's pretty straightforward. Tighten these set screws back down. And you want to adjust your tool so that you get a lead angle that's appropriate for the taper being cut. I like to kind of match it front and back so that it's, you know, approximately the same, going left and going right. And you'll see we have to use the manual feed on the compound rest. This is one of the big disadvantages. Of course, the other one is you just don't get that much distance out of it. But it does fine for short tapers that are not too critical with the surface finish. But if you try to control that nice, good, nice, consistent feed, I'm going a little bit faster, just roughing it off. But with a little bit of practice, you can get pretty consistent machine marks. All right, the other way we can make tapers, if you have one on your lathe, is with a taper attachment. Here we loosen up the bed bracket and the clamp. Well, I tightened the clamp there, but I'll loosen it up here in a second. When the clamp in the back, that yellow clamp, and when it's tight, it ties in and takes control of the position of the cross slide. So the cross slide feed knob won't work anymore, or the power feed. You wouldn't want to engage the cross slide power feed; it would bind up. When you loosen that clamp up, it'll allow you to move the cross slide. So first we want to position this make sure we've got it located where we can cut the whole taper. Of course, you can slide the whole taper attachment left and right. I'm going to set up a pretty extreme taper here just so you can see this thing work. Sometimes with a real shallow taper, it's hard to see what's going on, but this is really exaggerated. You can see when I move left and right, the tool moves in and out. Follows the taper of the swivel plate there. So I'm just going to reduce that down to the taper that was on our print. What was it, 0.531, something like that. A little over a ½ inch. So on the swivel plate, one side is going to be graduated in taper inches per foot. One's going to be graduated in degrees. Of course, either one of those is just a starting point. You really need to indicate in your taper or use a taper gauge. Or use the old trick of putting some chalk or putting some chalk on the taper and trying it out and seeing where you're getting contact on that chalk. You want to get contact all along the length of the taper. Make sure it fits. It should lock in place, especially a shallow taper like this. They ought to just, you ought to feel it go together. So I'm just going to rough this out just a little bit, and then I'll use the power feed. You see, with the taper attachment, it doesn't matter how you feed. You can even thread like this. What does get locked out, though, is your cross slide feed. And so to change the depth of cut, you need to feed in with the compound rest feed. Here I have it angled just a little bit. If this really mattered, I would have it straight. And I'd have an indicator on there. So screw taper attachment is a pretty handy thing to have if you're cutting a lot of tapers. You can leave it set up to standard taper. If you cut a Morse taper, for example, you can leave it set up that way, and you just keep it tightened down, and you can loosen that clamp, and you can leave it set up. Doesn't make a difference. And there's our part.
The apron moves parallel to the bed to cut the workpiece. If the tailstock centre is moved forward, more material will be taken off the tailstock end of the workpiece. The tailstock is moved off its centre by firstly loosening off the front hex-headed screw to allow some movement. Then tighten the rear screw to pull the top of the tailstock forward. The angle could be measured using a bevel protractor or by measuring between two known points with a dial indicator. I have marked 2 points 100mm apart to demonstrate. It could be more accurately done using the digital readout. I am setting it to half a degree 30 minutes on the sine table. 0.0087 times 100mm equals 0.87mm. Tighten up both screws to make sure the tailstock is secure. And recheck the position. A final check to make sure everything is secure, then remove the clock. Move to the start position and start cutting. Coolant to protect the tool and improve the finish. The auto feed can be used with this method. That is a taper turned using the offset tailstock method.
हेलो फ्रेंड्स, नमस्ते। मैं मगराज बिल स्वागत करता हूं आपका मैकेनिकल मगराज में। दोस्तों, आज हम बात करेंगे टेपर डिग्री की। किसी भी जॉब की टेपर डिग्री को कैसे मेजरमेंट करें, कैसे पता लगाएं कि वो कितने डिग्री टेपर है। तो उसके लिए हमें गूगल प्ले स्टोर से एक एप्लीकेशन, एक ऐप डाउनलोड करना होगा। तो ऐप डाउनलोड करने से पहले हमें, ये हमारे पास एक सॉकेट है, ये अंदर भी डिग्री है, ये बाहर भी इसमें डिग्री है। तो सबसे पहले हमें इस डिग्री इसको मेज़र करेंगे। इसमें छोटा डायमीटर, बड़ा डायमीटर और इसकी लंबाई हमें उसका माप करना पड़ेगा। तो हम पहले डिग्री देखते हैं। इसकी डिग्री हमेशा 1.5 डिग्री होती है। जो इस पर डिग्री होती है ना, वो हमेशा 1.5 डिग्री होती है। 1.5 डिग्री, ये हमेशा 1.5 डिग्री होती है। सॉकेट की जो डिग्री है वो 1.5 डिग्री होती है। और अब हम इसका बड़े वाला डायमीटर ले लेते हैं, उसको नाप लेते हैं, माप लेते हैं। ये आ रहा है 32.40, राउंड फिगर में आ रहा है 32.40, 32.4। इसका बड़ा डायमीटर आ रहा है 32.40। अब हम इसका छोटे वाला डायमीटर का माप लेंगे। 32.4 mm, 32.40 mm। अब हम इसके छोटे वाला डायमीटर उसका माप लेते हैं। ये आ रहा है 26.40, राउंड फिगर में 26.40। ठीक है, ये छोटा वाला डायमीटर हम लिख देते हैं। छोटा डी, स्मॉल डी, कैपिटल डी बड़ा डायमीटर, स्मॉल डी छोटा डायमीटर। 26.4 40 mm, ये स्मॉल डी 26.4 mm। ठीक है, और अब हम इसकी लंबाई देख लेते हैं। इसकी जो डिग्री की लंबाई है वो मैं नाप लेते हैं हम यहाँ। ये इसकी लंबाई 114.50 के करीब आ रही है। 114.50, राउंड फिगर में हम लेना होगा। 114.50 लंबाई, 114.50 mm। ये डिग्री 1.5 डिग्री है। ये बड़ा डायमीटर 32.40, छोटा डायमीटर 26.40, लंबाई 114.50। ठीक है, तो ये हमने मेजर कर लिया है। अब हम गूगल प्ले स्टोर में चलते हैं और उस एप्लीकेशन को डाउनलोड करके चेक करते हैं कि ये हमारी डिग्री वो सही बताता है या नहीं। ठीक है, तो चलते हैं गूगल प्ले स्टोर। तो दोस्तों, सबसे पहले हमें प्ले स्टोर ओपन करना होगा और सर्च में लिखना होगा टेपर एंड ट्रायंगल डिग्री कैलकुलेटर। ये जो सबसे ऊपर आ रहा है, हमें ये इंस्टॉल करना है। ये मैंने इंस्टॉल कर रखा है, इसलिए ये सीधा ओपन हो जाएगा और आपको यहाँ पे इसको इंस्टॉल करना है। तो मैं इसको ओपन कर लेता हूँ। ये इसमें 5 ऑप्शन आ रहे हैं। सबसे ऊपर जो 5 ऑप्शन आ रहे हैं, इसमें हमें ये दूसरे वाला ऑप्शन लेना है, जो डिग्री का बना हुआ है, ये लेना है। इस पर क्लिक करते हैं तो ये इसमें ये ओपन हो जाता है। इसके आगे तो ये इसमें D1 आ रहा है, तो यहाँ बड़ा डायमीटर। D2 आ रहा है, तो यहाँ पे छोटा डायमीटर। और L आ रहा है, यहाँ पर लंबाई होगी। तो हमारे पास बड़ा डायमीटर हमें पता है 32.4 है। 32.40, 32.4 कर दो या 40 कर दो, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, बराबर ही है। छोटा वाला डायमीटर है वो 26.40 है। 26.40, ठीक है। और जो लंबाई है वो है 114.50। बड़ा डायमीटर, छोटा डायमीटर और लंबाई हमने यहाँ पर फिल कर दी है। और जैसे हम कैलकुलेशन पर क्लिक करेंगे तो हमारे पास ये 3 आंसर आएंगे। उसमें ए डिग्री, बी डिग्री और टी डिग्री। ए डिग्री तो यहाँ ये कोने में लिखा हुआ है ए डिग्री, तो ये जो एंगल आएगा वो कितना डिग्री होगा, वो ए डिग्री में आएगा। बी डिग्री में ये आएगा अपने लेथ मशीन वाली डिग्री, जो हम कंपाउंड रेस्ट से जो डिग्री करेंगे वो बी डिग्री में आएगा। और टी डिग्री में आएगा ये टोटल डिग्री, जो इसकी ये टोटल डिग्री है ना, वो टी डिग्री में आएगा। तो हम कैलकुलेट पर क्लिक करते हैं, तो कैलकुलेट पे क्लिक करने के बाद हमें ये 3 आंसर मिल गए हैं। ए डिग्री, ये जो कोने वाली डिग्री है, ये 88.5 डिग्री है ये। और बी डिग्री जो हमारे कंपाउंड एस्टिमेट से जो हम निकालेंगे डिग्री, जो हमारे जॉब पे जो डिग्री होगी वो यहाँ बी डिग्री में आएगी। तो ये जो अभी हमने सॉकेट की जो डिग्री थी वो और ये डिग्री बिल्कुल मैच कर रही है। इसका मतलब है कि ये जो एप्लीकेशन है वो बिल्कुल ही काम कर रही है। ये मैंने इसलिए बताया है, वो सॉकेट का जो मैंने बताया ना नाप लेके, वो मैंने इसीलिए बताया है ताकि ये पता चल सके कि हाँ वाकई ये एप्लीकेशन है वो अपने काम की है। यहाँ पर जो ये बी डिग्री बता रहा है 1.5 डिग्री, ये हमारे कंपाउंड रेस्ट से हम 1.5 डिग्री करके डिग्री निकालेंगे तो वो सॉकेट की बराबर 1.5 डिग्री आ जाएगी। और ये जो 3 डिग्री आ रहा है ये दोनों तरफ की डिग्री आ रही है। ये जो टी है ना, टोटल डिग्री टी, ये टोटल डिग्री आ रही है 3 डिग्री। तो अपने तो ये बीच वाला काम आ रहा है, आएगा बी डिग्री। बी डिग्री 1.5 है, ये हमारे काम का है। ये दोनों, ये हमारे कंपाउंड रेस्ट में काम नहीं आएगी। और ऊपर और भी बस ये 2-4 ऑप्शन और दिए हुए हैं। ये जो सीट का काम करते हैं, चादर का काम करते हैं, उनके काम के हैं। तो इस तरह से आप भी डिग्री कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं और बड़ी आसानी से अपने जॉब की डिग्री को पता कर सकते हैं। इसका लिंक मैं डिस्क्रिप्शन में दे दूंगा, आप वहां से जाके सीधा इसका डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं, या गूगल प्ले स्टोर में आप टाइप कर दीजिए